Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility, the show on the channel where we take a look at some of the cool new releases that are coming out in the various genres that we cover here. All sorts of heavy metal, hard rock, classic rock, progressive rock, jazz, fusion. Quite a lot of stuff we cover here on the channel. Today, we're finally getting to it. I know we've had a lot of people asking, Pete, when are you going to get to the new album, the collaboration between Adrian Smith and Richie Kotzen? Well, here it is, folks. All right. Self-titled Smith-Kotzen, right? Of course, this is Adrian Smith, one of the three guitar players from Iron Maiden, and Richie Kotzen, longtime solo artist. He's also been in Mr. Big. He's been in Poison. All right, played with lots of people. He's also in the Winery Dogs, right? Both of these guys, very well traveled. Seems like an odd kind of pairing. When I first heard that these guys were doing an album together, I was kind of like, how is that going to work? Right? Guy, a mainstay, a legend from a legendary British heavy metal band, and this flashy yet soulful guitarist, vocalist, songwriter who's played with a bunch of bands, far removed from anything Iron Maiden has done, right? But apparently these guys have been friends. They've always wanted to do something together. Well, now they have. So let's take a look at the new CD here. So, of course, there they are. All right. Got Richie with his Telecaster, Adrian with his, I believe he's playing a Strat or maybe a Jackson. Might be a Jackson, actually. It's a Tele and a Jackson. So here's the booklet. It's all full of, there we go. And here, this is to signify, right, that they're both playing guitar and they're both singing. That is the key. This is, we all know how, great a singer Richie Kotzen is, but unless you followed some of Adrian's solo stuff, you always know him just as the guitar player and one of the three guitar players in Iron Maiden. Well, very good vocalist as well. And so on this album, they're both singing and playing guitar and playing bass. All right, both of them playing bass here. And also, you got Richie playing drums on a good chunk of the album. However, you got Nico McBrain of course, from Iron Maiden, Adrian's buddy, playing drums on one track. And then you've got Tal Bergman, who good friends with Kotzen, playing drums on a couple of other tracks. So basically, it's do it all yourself, a DIY thing for these two guys. And I will get it out there right now. This is not a heavy metal album. If you were expecting that, you're going to be a little disappointed. It sounds nothing like Iron Maiden at all. And I guess if you know Adrian Smith fairly well, he's a big fan of kind of bluesy hard rock stuff, classic rock stuff. And that's what this album is. This album is not far removed from the Winery Dogs, minus, Billy Sheehan's bass, right? Mark Portnoy's busy drumming. This is kind of that bluesy hard rock, all right? Throw in some, 70s Robin Trower, okay? Mix in, a little bit of kind of Kotzen's funky rock that he does solo. And that's kind of what you got here. Maybe a little bit of Badlands, all right? That late 80s, early 90s band, Jakey Lee, okay, Ray Gillen band. Kind of like that, maybe not quite as heavy. This is not a heavy album. There are a couple tracks on here that kind of rock, but for the most part, this is moody, bluesy, smoldering stuff. Really good vocals. They both sing in all the songs. They take turns playing lead guitar. There's some cool bluesy riffs. I wouldn't say this is a Shredder's album, although there is plenty of great guitar solos on here, but it's not all about that. It's a very vocal-oriented album, but they do get plenty of time to shine. First two tracks on the album, Taking My Chances and Running, are very catchy. And again, if you like Kotzen's solo stuff and you like the Winery Dogs, catchy like that. Good grooves, right? Tasty guitar licks and really soulful vocals. That's what it's all about. Like I said, both of these guys really shine on the vocal department here. This, to me, is just as much a vocal album as it is. It's like, hey, we're going to, lay down some cool riffs and solos type of thing. You got Scars, also a really cool tune. Kind of, like I said, there's a Robin Trower vibe going on parts of this album, which I kind of dig. You got Some People and Glory Road. Not as nuts about those two songs. They were pretty good. Solar Fire is great. Solar Fire, and that's got Nico on drums. That is a really up-tempo, driving hard rock song. I like that quite a bit. Then you got the really moody You Don't Know Me, which is kind of like this mid-paced bluesy, smoldering track with these lethal guitar solos to close it all out. Really good. One of the mellower tracks on here, but it's mellow, more like kind of darker and moodier, not big up-tempo type of thing. Then you got I Want to Stay Until Tomorrow, rounding out the album. There's not a ton of songs on here, which is good. Till Tomorrow's really good. Again, got that kind of trowery vibe. You know, got all sorts of cool effects going. A little univibe or phaser on some of the guitar parts on some of these tracks, which is pretty cool. Great vocals. I don't know. I mean, I dig this. It took me a couple of spins, though, to start to understand, you know, and really appreciate what they're doing here. Like I said, this is not a metal album. It is not a sit up and take notice to us type of album. It's just two guys who really dig each other, collaborating, writing some songs, doing something a little bit different, at least in one of them, one of their cases, doing something a little bit different than what they normally do. And it works. They complement each other really well. And if you're familiar with both of these guys, you can totally tell when one is singing versus the other. And you can totally tell when one is playing lead guitar over the other. Because, you know, Kotzen is, of the two of these guys, he's the big flashy virtuoso guy. Whereas Adrian is just, you know, more tasty, doesn't let go off the deep end ever here. Well, I shouldn't say that. He throws in some fine stuff on here. But the important thing is that you can totally tell when one is playing versus the other. And that's pretty cool because they have both very distinct styles, very different from each other. But it really works. So I dig it. I dig it. You know, I've been sitting there thinking I haven't put up a review on the website yet. What I would give this, probably somewhere between 3.5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. It's very good. I don't think it's like a tremendous album, at least not yet anyway, because I've only had it like a week and a half. But I'm digging it, and I think it's really good. I think it's one that I'm going to like as time goes on even a little bit more. So, you know, in saying that, a 4 out of 5 for me is pretty damn good. And that's kind of almost where I'm at here. So definitely cool. Two really good guitar players, having fun, creating a cool album. You know what? It might not be the flavor of the month for some people, but I think for those of us who enjoy some of the other acts I mentioned here and appreciate both these guys' talents, I think it's great to hear Adrian sing lead vocals in a project like this, and they work well together. So there you have it. Adrian Smith, Richie Kotzen, or just Smith Kotzen. Check it out if you haven't. All right. It's pretty good stuff on BMG Records. All right, pretty cool. So visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up on the channel tonight, we've got a big show. Hudson Valley Squares tonight. Big show. We've got a cool concept. The best sounding album you've ever heard in your life. All right, sonically speaking, the most incredibly produced, just total ear candy album for your senses, that when you put it on, you just absolutely dazzle beyond belief. That's what we're going for here. The best sounding album you have ever heard in your life. Doesn't matter what the genre is, okay? So everybody in the panel is going to be here tonight, as well as we got a couple of surprises tonight. We were kind of hoping to get Martin Popoff on tonight for the show, but he's had some technical difficulties on the computer end of things, so he won't be able to make tonight's show. But we will have, from In the Prague Seat, George Lamy. We will have Rich Catino from the Monsters Den and all sorts of other shows here on the channel. And we will have also a Hudson Valley resident, Mr. Mike Antonelli from the brewery at Orange County Hops. So, you know, all three of those guys appear quite a bit on the channel. They're going to help us out tonight, and everybody's going to get their chance to list their favorite album of all time, or favorites, best sounding album of all time. I shouldn't say favorite album of all time. So stay tuned for that tonight. We've got tomorrow, we've got In the Prague Seat, an all Alan Holdsworth episode dedicated to the late, great Alan Holdsworth, one of the most amazing guitar players of all time. Lynn Versace and I will also, we had to postpone it from yesterday. Lynn and I will be getting together tomorrow night for our top 10 song show of Meatloaf. And then, of course, we've got the Monsters Den coming up later this week and all sorts of other shows happening on the channel. So stay tuned for that and a lot more. I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you real soon, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.